Hey guys, what's up? We are back with another video today, and today we are doing Texas A&M's football prediction. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. We are on our road to 1,000 subscribers. We're only about 30 away as of this recording, so hit that subscribe button down below. Join the club as we head our way towards 1,000 subscribers. Like this video if you enjoy it. Even if you dislike it, there may be some dislikes with this video, just a forewarning. Also, make sure that you share your comments down in the description. I respond to every single comment, so make sure that you put your comments down in the description of what your thoughts are on the video, what you think Texas A&M will do in this upcoming season with a new offensive coordinator and with Jimbo Fisher. He's got a big buyout, so he's pretty much stuck here for a long-term plan, so we'll see what happens. Also, make sure you check out the website, the Patreon page, the podcast, and college football roundup. Link will be in the description at the top right corner. And there will be some official content for college football roundup exclusively on that channel. So make sure you check that one out that I do with American Football Network. So let's make our way over to the schedule. So Texas A&M starts the year off pretty decently with a home game against New Mexico. New Mexico, not a difficult team, not really particularly difficult environment. I think you should get a pretty easy win here, even with a quarterback in Connor Wegman. I think that you're in a good position, in a good spot in order to get a W there. So I think that you get the win there. Then now on to the much more interesting game. Miami. Last year you won this game 17-9, but let's just say it wasn't very pretty. You were coming off of the loss against App State. Obviously, a tough environment overall there. Offensively, there were quite a bit of struggles. But really, I think it comes down to this. At the end of the day, I think that Miami is going to, A, be the more physical team, B, be the to a degree more talented than Texas A&M. It depends on what you think of the 5 stars that Texas A&M still has left from that recruiting class. But overall, I think that Miami is just a better run program and is going to be able to score more offensive points because this Texas A&M offense was specifically led by Devon Achane. And maybe I'm saying that wrong, and if I am, I'm sorry. But Devon Achane, who just ran all over people for the most part, he had 1,100 yards last year, 5.6 yards a carry, 8 touchdowns, almost 200 attempts. It's just going to be a tough place to – it's going to be a tough time to play. It's not an easy place to go down to Miami for a game that Miami fans are excited about. So I think that this is going to be a tough matchup for Texas A&M going in, and I think that it's going to be a loss at the end of the day. Then you have UML, Louisiana Monroe coming to town, the Warhawks. It's going to be a win. It's going to be a pretty easy game here. I think that Texas A&M easily is going to be able to get the W. I think that even though Louisiana Monroe is not one of the worst FBS programs, they're pretty close to being one of the worst. So Texas A&M, though offensively, I'm really interested to see how the offense plays out this year, and I think that these 3 games are going to start to see how the offense played out because Texas A&M even struggled last year, only beating UMass by 20-3, only scoring 20 points against them. And even then, it wasn't like an easy 20 points. It was a tough, well-earned 20 points. And UMass was one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in college football last year. They were just truly atrocious. Now, on to their first SEC matchup of the year. You have the Auburn Tigers coming to town. And with Peyton Thorne at quarterback, it makes it a little bit more difficult of a matchup. Even though I think Wegman does have some experience and played, well, better than everybody else at the quarterback position last year, I still think that there's going to be some offensive struggles. But here's the thing. Hugh Freeze in week 4, I don't know. I think that was a little bit of a difficult matchup. I think overall, I think that the win goes in the A&M column. If this game was later on in the year or if the game was in Auburn, I think that this game may go to the Auburn Tigers, but with this game being where the 12th man lives in honor of Texas A&M, I am going to give the win to the Aggies. Then you have Arkansas coming down to the state of Texas at Arlington for the annual Jerry Jones Classic. And with this game, Arkansas is the better team, the better quarterback, the better offensive and defensive line, the better, not exactly talent purely level if you look at high school, but when you look at overall, they're just the better team. I know that last year Texas A&M did win this game, but let's be honest here. You won it because KJ Jefferson thought he was Superman, tried to dive over the end zone, gave up the ball, and made it a 14-point swing. The game ended 23-21. If you take those 14 points, say Arkansas got a touchdown there, made it 28 for Arkansas, and made it 16 for Texas A&M. That's a 12-point win for Arkansas. That was that close for me in a 12-point game, and I get that was at the end of the first half. It wasn't like it was at the end of the second half. I get that. And that's not exactly what you can do. But let's also be honest here. Probably that game does not happen. Let's just be honest here. Arkansas should not have lost that game in any form or fashion. Arkansas should have won that game, and I think they'll win it this year, especially with KJ Jefferson coming back. Should be a win here for the Razorbacks. Then, sorry, you saw it. I do have Texas A&M beating Alabama. One thing that Texas A&M does do a very good job of, it's not beating the teams that they should have. You lost 18 points the week prior to Alabama, and you lost to South Carolina the week after. A South Carolina team that, mind you, was not the same South Carolina team that beat the crap out of Tennessee and Clemson later on in the year. This was the South Carolina team that a few weeks later lost to Missouri. Badly, I might add. But in all regards, here's the thing. This is a Texas A&M team that played at Alabama and lost by 4 points. The year prior, they beat Alabama. And here's the thing. They played Nick Saban well in these past 2 years. So I'm going to give them the dub. I think that they can beat Alabama. And with a tough environment going into Kyle Field, obviously, we've talked about how tough this environment is. Not only to mention the fact that Alabama has some issues. You don't have Will Anderson. You don't have Bryce Young. You have a new OC, a new quarterback, some new offensive line pieces. You're in a year of transition. And I think with all that transition, outside of the secondary, this all Alabama squad is not the same as it usually is, whether it's looking at the wide receivers, the offensive line, the outside linebacking position, the quarterback position, whatever you look at, this is a weaker team. But that's not the same thing when it comes to Tennessee. Tennessee, the quarterback-wise, it's not going to be pretty, most likely. Joe Milton, I think, looked good, and he will throw it 90 yards and make it look like he is Patrick Mahomes. But here's the problem. He has no accuracy whatsoever in throwing a football at all. He can throw it 100 miles an hour. You're 10 feet away and still miss you. But saying all that to say this game is in Tennessee. This game is with a high-flying Tennessee offense, and I just simply do not see Texas A&M being able to put up enough points in order to beat a team like Tennessee. Then you have a bye week. Then you play South Carolina. South Carolina, you only lost 2-6 on the road last year. But like I just stressed earlier, Spencer Rattler was not the same player that he was in the last couple weeks of the season. And even in the Notre Dame game, he didn't play particularly well, but he played better than he did in other parts of the season. I think you still lose this game. I think South Carolina is just simply in a better position. Offensively, they will score more points, and I just don't think that Texas A&M's offense has shown me anywhere near that what they need to show me in order to prove that they can be an offensive juggernaut. Speaking of offensive juggernauts, you ain't going to be able to beat Lane Kiffin when you can't score points. And even though Bobby Petrino is coming in, like I addressed earlier, and even though Jimbo Fisher sometimes is able to turn it around, I don't think that this is one of the times that he is going to be able to turn it around. I think he is going to struggle. And I think that this is a Ole Miss team that it's going to be a difficult challenge in order to beat Ole Miss. And I think that you definitely have a lot of work cut out for you when it comes to this game. And last time you played them, you lost 19-29. That was in 2021. And even when you had a good season with wins over Auburn and South Carolina and Missouri and Alabama and stuff like that, I think that you're still in a position that you need to improve. Miss State, another loss here. This goes back to the same point. Offensively, I just think Texas A&M will struggle, and defensively, I just don't think they have the pieces to be able to stop these high-flying offenses that all three of these weeks, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Miss State, all three of them are high-flying offenses that have a pretty good to elite quarterback play. And it's going to be hard to stop that, whether it's Will Rogers or Spencer Rattler or Jackson Dart / Spencer Sanders, whoever it is. I think you will lose all three of those games. Then you play Abilene Christian. I do think that you win this game with not much issue to speak of. Then you head down to Baton Rouge to play them LSU Tigers. And unlike last year where you upset the entire world basically by beating LSU in Kyle Field, I think that that is just simply not as what is going to be done this year. I think that Texas A&M finishes with a 5-7 record. I just simply don't see the capacity or the ability for Texas A&M to really improve right now, even though they have a better team, I think, compared to last year, kind of. They've lost a lot in the transfer portal. They have a lot of issues to deal with, and I think that you definitely have to be there's just a lot going on, and I just don't see the way in which you need to fix it. I think you're in a little bit of trouble here if you're Texas A&M. So that's going to wrap up today's video. Hit 2 videos down below. Hit the subscribe button up here. And as always, have a great day. Bye, guys.